Yo, what's good, guys? Yo, recently, guys, I've uploaded a video and it already got 300 views. And from one day, God, I think that video is gonna go viral. But yeah, I'm going to send a private server link right now.
Tai Chi suggests that she shouldn't go into battle since she wasn't originally part of the summon. But Rin insists, saying that she chose to enter the summoning circle, and now she wants to protect her friends and end the fight. Muller and Lemia also talk about the upcoming war and how worried they are about Tai Chi and Rin. But their conversation is cut short when Lemia senses someone strange. It's an assassin sent to clap Tai Chi and Rin by Marchins, one of the Duke of Dordesheim's allies, who doesn't want Milgen to get all the credit for the battle. The assassin goes to the room where Tai Chi and Rin are supposed to be and stabs the bed, thinking they're there. But Tai Chi sensed him before, and the group confronts the assassin. He attacks Rin, but only manages to cut her hair. That makes Tai Chi really mad, and he goes after the assassin almost like he wants to clap him. All this while, he's not afraid of hurting or dying, but he's scared of losing the people he promised to protect, just like what happened with Anastasia. Lemia stops Tai Chi from hurting the assassin more, thinking they could get some information from him. But it turns out the assassin isn't interested in talking. He frees himself from Tai Chi and bites a suicide pill as he jumps off the balcony, dying right away. The next day, enemy troops are ready to fight.
No! Just stop screaming! Why are you screaming all the time, bro? Just stop. I'm trying to stream, bro. Damn.
Makes them easy targets. But Lemia looks worried when she sees that the enemy soldiers don't have much equipment, and maybe they have underestimated their opponents. All the enemy soldiers can use long-range attacks with elemental powers, which surprises everyone because they didn't expect so many of them to be mages. Tai Chi scans and figures out that they're wearing rings, and Lemia explains that these rings have magic stones in them that can do simple spells. But the soldiers are using the rings recklessly, not realizing that the more power they use, the more it takes their life energy, which could end up killing them. The adventurers are determined to prevent their enemies from suffering such a horrible fate. But Sumella's soldiers are reluctant to stop it. They think that if their enemies die without their interference, the battle will be easier. However, Sumella and Bella, the mage, don't want their enemies to die needlessly, so they support the group's plan to stop the life energy consumption from the rings. Lemia comes up with a plan that requires Ring's help. Meanwhile, the enemy soldiers continue to attack, even though most of them are visibly weakened by the energy consumption. Milgen, their leader, urges them not to give up and to focus their attacks on Rin and the others. Ariel creates a protective barrier to shield them, and Muller defends Rin against any attacks that manage to get through the barrier, allowing Rin to concentrate on her spell. Lemia, along with the other mages, conjures gray clouds to make it rain, and then Rin uses lightning to shock the ground where the weakened enemy soldiers are standing. This causes a massive electrocution that severely weakens all of them. Inimicus, the Duke's right-hand man and advisor, arrives and is impressed by Rin's clever strategy. Milgen desperately asks Inimicus to revive everyone and blames him for giving them the magic stones, claiming it would bring him victory. However, Inimicus stabs Milgen, deeming him a failure and no longer useful. The battle concludes with the defeat of the enemy soldiers, bringing relief to the entire kingdom. However, Cassim is still frustrated by Tai Chi's praise and shows Grammy a sinister-looking statue, hinting that it will bring about the end of Tai Chi. The next day, Rin visits Tai Chi's chamber to wake him up. When he sees her, he wants to compliment her beauty, but instead, he rushes out of the room to vomit. It turns out he had overeaten the previous day, leading to an indigestion problem. Lemia and Muller also arrive in Tai Chi's room to inform them that King Gilmer has summoned them to the Grand Royal Hall. In front of everyone, King Gilmer congratulates them for their outstanding performance on the battlefield. Charlotte, the princess, expresses her desire to reward them for their bravery. She offers them high-quality weapons and items from the royal house, which they happily accept. Each of them selects a weapon that catches their attention the most. Tai Chi is immediately drawn to a katana, and he doesn't hesitate to choose it. The princess explains that the sword wasn't forged in their nation, and the soldiers refuse to use it because of its slim blade. Tai Chi understands that in a world dominated by broadswords and large weapons, a katana might not be the popular choice. However, he believes that owning a katana is every man's dream. So,
Kaylin, join me. Kaylin.
Suggests a practice fight with Tai Chi, which Lemia agrees to. Lemia tests out her own ring she got. and the others, seeing the amazing power display, decide to try their weapons too. Sumella's initial main goal is to spar again with her supposed future husband, Tai Chi, but he manages to escape as he passes out from Sumella violently shaking him because he still hasn't gotten over his indigestion. In the market, Tai Chi feels many eyes on him, thinking it's because they saw Ariel, and everyone is looking at her. However, apart from Tai Chi, no one else can see her. In reality, they're looking at him because he defended the city the day before. Even children approach him excitedly to meet him and ask to shake his hands. As he's about to return to the training ground, he senses the presence of Cassim, who emerges from the shadows. Tai Chi is surprised to see that Cassim is missing an arm, but Cassim reminds him that he was responsible for that damage, something Tai Chi didn't know because he was blinded by anger at that moment before falling unconscious. Cassim wants to clap Tai Chi and proposes a duel, which Tai Chi wants to avoid so as not to involve the innocent bystanders. But if Tai Chi refuses, Cassim has taken precautions to have poison poured into the capital. Tai Chi doesn't have the kingdom's training ground. Rin and Muller will fight, showing off their new weapons. Lemia talks with General Sumella. General Sumella wanted to calm the soldiers down, so she suggested these practice fights. She knew that they were ready to fight his army, and they might have to leave for battle that very night. Now, in a secluded area, Cassim shows Tai Chi a cursed statue given to him by Lemia, his boss. It was supposed to make their fight more even by lowering Tai Chi's power to Cassim's level, so it would be a fair match. Cassim said Tai Chi was lucky, not having worked as hard as he did to get strong. So, in their fight, hard work would decide the winner. Ariel tries to stop Tai Chi, worried his power might never return. But Tai Chi agrees to the fight. Ariel was mad and left at first, but then she changed her mind and watched the fight. Cassim had already activated the statues, and now they were fighting each other with curses and magic spells. They both hurt themselves really badly. Cassim thought, this is it, my final attack. Tai Chi was worried, wondering how he could stop it with his own strength. Then he remembers all his training from the past. Tai Chi grabbed his katana and slashed Cassim's attack, sending Cassim flying into the wall. Cassim knew he couldn't win, so he gave up and let Tai Chi go. He tells Tai Chi that he could get his power back by breaking the artifact. All of a sudden, the artifact started glowing, and a spooky black ghost came out and attacked Tai Chi. Cassim thought maybe Logger.
With Landscape Platinum Plus, I load this and get this. Here's edition difference.
Maybe Logger did something else to it. Tai Chi tried hitting him, but that didn't work at all. He was stuck. Then, out of nowhere, Granny showed up and defended Tai Chi. She broke the artifact, but the ghosty thing still didn't go away. Tai Chi figured out what to do, so he used his massive wind power, and that finally got rid of the weird creature. When he got his powers back, later, Tai Chi really wanted to chat with Cassim, but Granny told him that Cassim felt super sorry for underestimating Tai Chi, and now his pride is all broken. Granny explained that Cassim knew what it took to become strong and really appreciated people who tried hard. Cassim's only regret was not realizing Tai Chi's amazing skills earlier. While Cassim scolded Granny for saying so much, Tai Chi said he had a super strict teacher who made him who he is today. Granny helped him stand up to him. Just as they were about to say bye to Tai Chi, a big commotion happened. There was chaos in the city, and everyone started running and hiding because the rebel army declared war. Logger talks to his master, Lady Shade, and explains he gave Cassim something to help with his revenge. She said everything was going as planned, and they were ready for the next part of their plan. As everyone gets ready for the big fight, Tai Chi finds Rick. He promised that he'd protect her no matter what, but she made him promise that she'd fight too, and they'd protect each other, which Tai Chi agreed to. As the day begins, everyone gets ready to face the big battle that's going to decide what happens to the kingdom. The Duke is all set to fight his brother to take over the kingdom. He asks Inimicus if their victory is sure, and Inimicus assures him they are going to win. They got marches and some tough fighters who will handle the kingdom's mages during the battle, while Inimicus has a plan to deal with Tai Chi. King Gilmer talks to all the soldiers. He tells them to stay strong and fight for the kingdom's people. They march into battle, and it's super big and really intense. The kingdom's mages help out by taking out some of the bad guys. Tai Chi, using the wind spirit, flies over to the enemy camp to deal with the soldiers there. Now, each adventurer has someone to go up against. Ring fights this hyperactive girl named Suzor. Muller takes on Marchese, who's trying to be all charming. And Lemia, who's called the Mage of the Fallen Leaves, goes against Miss Follows, a powerful mage. Tai Chi goes to talk to the Duke. He says he's a messenger of the king and wants peace. He tells him that both the Duke and the king should think about the kingdom's people and not fight. He says if they surrender, the king has promised not to hurt them. But if they don't, Tai Chi can easily take the Duke to the king. The Duke seems to be thinking about it, and then Inimicus uses some magic to control the unconscious soldiers outside. Lemia, even though it seemed like she was in trouble because of Miss Folo's power, actually comes up with a new spell on the spot. She amazes Miss Folo's, who's already hurt from her attack, and then she casts a super big spell to get rid of him for good. Muller, on the other hand, gets really mad at Marchese for making fun of Miss Folo's, who was supposed to be his comrade. So, when Marchese disarms her sword, she uses her dagger to take down Marchese, like she kills him. Now, Tai Chi talks to Dordesheim about peace, but Dordesheim says no. He asks Tai Chi why he doesn't just rule the kingdom with his superpower. But Tai Chi says he doesn't like the royal life or wants to be a dictator and force people to follow him. But Dordesheim is really proud and won't back down. He says he'll do anything to keep the kingdom safe. Then Ariel sees something weird and tells Tai Chi. Tai Chi and the Duke both see that Inimicus is giving off strange energy, and all the soldiers who fell in battle come back as zombies attacking any and everyone. These berserkers don't care if you're on their side or not. Even in Rin's fight with Suzora, Rin manages to hurt her and get the upper hand. Suzora realizes that Rin is strong, but they get in trouble because of the zombie soldiers. They have to team up to fight these new enemies. The Duke doesn't get what's happening because he didn't know about Inimicus' plan. Finally, Inimicus admits that he messed up the battlefield with magic from the start. He tricked the Duke to start a war because his master told him to. Inimicus is just crazy, saying he leaves to please his master, Lady Shade, and he wants to invoke chaos in the world. His body starts materializing as he gives his soul to this supreme being. The Duke feels bad about what is happening and decides to help Tai Chi with the Berserker battle. A long time ago, there was a war known as the Bloody Rhapsody, which started 200 years back because of a border dispute between the Guardian and Scattered empires. At first, people thought the battle would be over quickly, but it turned out to be a huge deal. The soldiers went crazy, attacking anyone and everyone, including their own allies and regular people. They were filled with this crazy need for blood. It was a really savage war, and it's still remembered today because it caused the death of 700,000 people from both sides combined. Lemia tells Muller that all the soldiers under the Duke's command are being controlled by some dark and powerful sorcery from a really bad person who knows black magic. Lemia says the only way to stop this control is to take down the person who started it, or else the soldiers won't stop and will go on a rampage in cities. Rin and Suzora are fighting together. Rin is trying not to hurt the soldiers, but Suzora is clapping them. Since Suzora is a contract mercenary, Rin decides to hire her to fight alongside her. Suzora agrees and accepts her reward as just making it alive. Rin suggests they go find the others for now and then figure out the next step. Tai Chi is fighting against these berserkers and keep getting back up, no matter what he does. Dordesheim tells him not to hold back and to clap the soldiers he comes across to make sure the same tragedy from years ago doesn't happen again. Sumela, Lemia, and Muller are also fighting with that mindset in their own areas in order to clap the berserkers, even though they know the soldiers are being controlled. They feel like they have to do it to stop innocent people from getting hurt. This is different from what Rin and Tai Chi wanted, which was to use their power to help. But now Tai Chi is ready to do whatever it takes to protect the people he cares about and accepts the Duke's suggestion. But just when Tai Chi is about to follow through and take down the berserkers, Ariel steps in. She admits that she lied about her appearance and the power she gave Tai Chi. Her true power is so crazy strong that it could actually hurt Tai Chi if it's not controlled right. Finally, Ariel understands how determined Tai Chi is to protect the people he loves. So she shows her true form. Rin shows up too. Even though her leg is hurt from her fight with Suzora, Tai Chi feels guilty for not being able to protect her earlier. But now that he has the power, he's ready. He calls on his elemental spirit, Sylphin, and this amazing thing happens. The Berserker circle disappears, and all the soldiers stop being controlled. This is a super unheard of spell because everyone thought the only way to stop the control was to clap the person who started it. Ariel, now in her true form, and actually named Sylphin, turns out to be the queen of all the spirits and has mega power. Tai Chi asks if she's still Ariel, and she tells him they're both the same person, Ariel and Sylphin. Tai Chi is super relieved now. The big, scary berserkers are gone, but there's still a big problem. Inimicus had turned into a huge monster after offering his soul to the Lady Shade he worships and gained a new power from her. Inimicus says this lady made all the events that happened to Tai Chi since he arrived. The princess was just a pawn in this game. Tai Chi is supposed to be like a sword and a shield for this lady according to Inimicus. But he doesn't know who she is, and Inimicus won't tell him. So they start fighting, and even though Inimicus looks really scary, Tai Chi is super strong. He's mad because he was used as a tool for someone who wanted to start a war and hurt innocent people. Tai Chi keeps punching Animicus till Animicus is weak. Animicus asks Tai Chi to clap him, but says Tai Chi can't clap another person, and that is his weakness. But Tai Chi, throwing away his humanity, decides he has to do it to protect the people he loves. So, he ends Animicus' life, and Animicus is happy because he did what his master, Lady Shade, wanted. The big war is all done, and the kingdom's streets are